Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 339 for April 9th, 2024. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, the UFL had a very competitive week 2, which included one game drawing over 40,000 fans. The date of EA Sports College Football 25 video game is announced, and is there a Super League coming to college football? But I'm not here all by myself. Across the table for me, as always, is my son Adam.
Hello. Normally, I don't see you more than once a week, but we did a fun interview this
Yes,
past
we
weekend,
did.
which we'll talk about it in a
Yeah,
second. But
yeah. This is the
and this is posted clips I'm seeing.
post-it. That's exactly what I was
No,
going to say.
no, I mean,
You didn't see it, but
no, I barely saw it.
you were
I didn't have
working.
the glasses. I tried to look at it through trees, didn't work. Tried to look at it doing like a selfie with my cell phone in the parking lot of my
Yeah,
apartment complex. That didn't work, so I gave up and
yeah,
went inside.
yeah.
So
No, I went with my brother and his grandson and his grandson's
you mean
girlfriend.
your great nephew?
My great, well, saying his grandson is better than saying my great nephew.
He's a great nephew.
But we, well, the four of us went down to a little town called Bluffton, Indiana, south of Fort Wayne, and we had to go so far south to get into the path of totality, and we did. The only problem was if we had gone farther into the path of totality, it might have lasted a little longer, the total eclipse, because it only lasted about a minute for us,
Yeah.
because we were right on the edge. But we did get to see it, and my brother was just astonished. He had never seen an eclipse, and it was fun to see his reaction to what it was all about. You know how dark it got, being able to look at it with your bare eyes and everything. It was awesome.
Did you guys look at the shadows on the ground too? All the trees with all the weird little.
The light got really weird, the
Yeah.
sunlight, and then once it went past the total solar eclipse, and when there was just a little bitty sliver of sunlight that you could see coming over, it's like everything got bright again. So just that little bit of sliver was lighting up everything.
Yeah.
So that was really weird. But yeah, great experience. Can't wait for the next one in 2044 or
Yeah.
2045. When I'm in my 90s to check that out. So yeah.
Well, for those in Kalamazoo, where we're from, recording right now, in 2099, I saw Kalamazoo. Like this whole area should be in the path of totality. So
Ooh, mark your calendars.
yeah, mark your calendars, everybody. 2099. Whoever's got this podcast by
Turn to the
then.
next site, only 75 years from now, or whatever.
Yeah, whatever descendant we have that is keeping this podcast going in 2099. I hope they enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. We come to you each week from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football. All this while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast. We also have timestamps down in the description of both the podcast and many of our YouTube videos, so you can go right to the topics you really want to listen to. You can also find our podcast in its full audio form on our YouTube channel. Just search for The World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle at The World of Football in the YouTube search bar. You will find many other selected videos on our YouTube channel, like the one we just did the other day.
Yeah,
Uh,
twofer.
yep, well, it was a long interview, so you broke it into two
I wouldn't even
parts.
call it. It was more of a nice little round
Yeah, it was
table
a
of
conversation,
discussion.
round table discussion. Yeah, it wasn't really an interview, but
We had
we
a couple questions in there, but
we invited Tim Capper, and we've been talking about doing this for some time. Finally got together with his schedule and our schedule. It even had to be delayed for 2 days because we were going to do it last Wednesday evening,
we were gonna
and
do it Thursday. But then he uh, lost power. You said
that's right.
right? He lost internet connection. Had a
Mhm.
storm.
Yeah, he was having a snowstorm in Montreal, and he lost power
Mm.
in his apartment. So we put it off for another couple of days. I guess
Yeah,
he got it back later
because
that
then I
day.
was busy Friday, so I couldn't do it Friday, and
Right.
then so we worked it out for Saturday.
Yep.
So yeah, nice conversation with Tim. First time I've got to talk to him face to face. We've mainly just interacted on social media, so it was like
Right.
our first time meeting. But I think we had a lot of fun. I think Tim enjoyed it, and we appreciate him again for coming on. And
Yep. Had a good
uh,
time. Had a good
a
conversation.
lot of good conversation. And so we hope people go check those out. Randy, of course, makes a fool out of himself. I
Yeah,
do
you'll
too.
be seeing those in some YouTube shorts. Adam just
I
can't
can't
wait
wait.
to
I can't wait.
make fun of me again.
Hey, it's gold. Everybody loves it, Randy.
All right. Well, let's begin today's show, and we're going to start with news and scores from the UFL. Do you want to take this,
All
or
right,
shall
yep,
I?
I'll kick things off
Okay.
here. So we had 4 games this weekend. It was week 2 of the UFL season, and what a weekend slate of games. I don't know how much you ended up getting to watch.
Not
I
a whole
watched
lot.
pretty much everything, uh, with the exception of the final game Sunday night.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that one.
Yeah, that one I missed, but I watched the highlights of it. Um, but Saturday afternoon, I watched this while I was at work. I had it on my phone. Bosses didn't care. I had nothing to do anyway. So the San Antonio Brahmas defeated the Memphis Showboats 20-19, but this game was nuts. I was watching this. I'm sitting there just like watching the Memphis Showboats go up 16-0. I'm like, wow, I'm gonna have to eat some crow on the podcast because I said the San Antonio Brahmas were probably the best team in the league. Then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, the Brahmas came clawing back thanks to some great plays as well as some great unique UFL rules that kind of allowed this to happen.
Hmm,
So yeah, they outscored the Showboats 20-3 in that fourth quarter. So they tied the game up, or they got within strike. No, they got within a few points. So by being down at the end of the game, they could opt for, instead of an onside kick, they could opt for that 4th and 12,
right.
which I think a lot of fans are actually enjoying. It actually makes it very interesting at the end of a game.
Yep.
And so they did that, and they completed that play from their own 28-yard line, 48 seconds left. So the Brahmas only down by 5 points, I want to say, at that point. Marched down the field. They scored the go-ahead touchdown to go up 20-19. And then uh, a bunch of interesting stuff happened at the end of this game. So they scored that touchdown, and there was a penalty. There was like a pass interference call on the Showboats in the end zone. So the Brahmas coaching staff, Wade Phillips, thought, oh, we could take that penalty and add it on to the extra point. So we want to do a 3-point play because it'll happen at the 1-yard line now, which I was like, ooh, that's interesting. That's
Hmm.
fascinating. But then you hear the rules and the officiating, they cut to that sound booth where the broadcast,
You can hear him
yeah,
talking
Dean
about it.
Blandino or Mike Pereira, one of those two guys were talking, and they were like, no, they can't do that on the extra point plays are set at those
Oh.
yard markers. So a penalty, the play before, cannot affect that apparently, which I didn't know,
Hmm.
and the coach didn't know that. So they were trying to explain to him like, now you have to decline the penalty, like it never happened. It's like so like they just had to accept it.
Hmm.
They couldn't just or they had to decline it, but they had to accept that they had to decline it. It was a very weird set of circumstances, but the way that all unfolded, and so they missed the 3-point try because they were trying to go up by at least a field goal.
Right.
So that would have put them up by, or no, that
Four.
would have put them up by 4 points
About four, yeah.
at that point, which was a great strategic move. Would have been if they would have got it. So they didn't. They kicked the ball back to the Showboats, who couldn't return it. Game over. So they win by a point. So that was thrilling. Uh, First 3 quarters, it was looking like it was Memphis who might be the best team in the league. Then all of a sudden, San Antonio just clawed their way back and looked awesome doing it. So that was a fun game. Saturday night, now we're going to transition to the St. Louis Battlehawks defeating the Arlington Renegades 27-24. This was another thrilling game. This one might be the most entertaining. It was so back and forth.
Yeah, I
The
saw a little of this one.
the Renegades had so many trick plays and so many just great little highlights, that I was just like, I can't believe what's happening right now. But the Battlehawks also had some big plays, and it also helped that St. Louis crowd was unbelievably loud. And they had 40,317 people there in attendance. When
Yeah.
we were there, do you remember what the attendance was when we went?
No, I don't. I probably got it written down somewhere, but yeah, they said they had to open up a part of the
Yeah,
upper
like
bowl area.
yeah.
Yeah, they have like a mezzanine area, and I think they opened that up for people who wanted tickets to get there. But yeah, that place did look pretty packed on TV from what I could see. I want to say it was probably 30,000 something when we were there last year, and I think this is like a record, for a spring game,
Uh,
modern day spring game or
yeah.
whatever. And I think Memphis, or not Memphis, but St. Louis held the previous record from a game last
Oh
year.
yeah, I'm sure.
But they've always drawn really well. The fans there, they've been dying for a team ever since they lost the St. Louis Rams.
They have embraced the
So they have,
Battlehawks.
yep, they have absolutely embraced the Battlehawks. Their fans. We saw fans in Michigan.
Oh yeah, they made that trip up
Oh
here,
yeah, a
man.
bunch of them. Like that other half of the stadium behind their bench was mostly Battlehawks fans.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they travel well. They love that team, and it does not surprise me that they've got the best attendance in the league.
Um, just an unbelievable, watching that game, seeing that crowd the way it was that's what you want out of the spring. Like I know a lot of people will say, they're getting crappy attendance and
Right.
St. Louis is the outlier, which may be true, but it's still a new league and this whole idea of spring football, I think people are still either they've been burned before and they're
Right.
like, why should I invest in something that's just going to
Right.
fold, which is fair, but I think now this is a league that is starting. If they keep being competitive like this, if they keep having weekends like this,
Mhm.
people are going to tune in. People are going to rally behind these teams. As long as these teams aren't bad, like you could probably have a team that's lost a few games, but as long as they're competitive and they're taking it down to the end of a game, like the Panthers we'll talk about in a second, but I think that'll draw people to going and having fun experiences at these stadiums.
Sure. It's a lot more affordable than going to an NFL
It
game.
is. It's affordable. I had a great time when we went to our UFL game, and all these. I don't know if these town or these events need different gimmicks. Like we'll talk about a beer snake in a little bit. The Battlehawks got their thing going on,
Yeah.
but like Memphis, there the first game, there wasn't a whole lot of people there. That we've been to that stadium before too
Right.
for an
Yeah.
AAF game.
Yep.
It's I don't know if they've ever really drawn the right crowd, and maybe it is the league having to try to figure out like, is this the right type of market, or do we need to find a different city that's going to be like a St. Louis where they want football and they're starving for a team and they're going to shell out for it.
Yeah.
And I hate to say like take away some of these teams that aren't drawing crowds, but if it helps sustain this league, like hey, look, let's put it in a market that's going to bring fans.
Mhm.
That's a different discussion for a different
Right.
day.
Well, yeah, Memphis has always been involved in just about
Pretty much, yeah.
every league other than the NFL. The World Football League, USFL, AAF.
AAF, yep.
Yeah, just Arena Two, and CFL. The CFL had a team there,
Yeah.
Memphis Mad Dogs. So it's a football town, and it's always one of the first ones they look to when they say, "Well, where can we put a team?" Well, Memphis. They've got the Liberty Bowl and all that. So we'll just see. We'll
Yep.
just have to see how it goes
Well, just yeah, it'll be
in the
very
future.
interesting. I mean, I'm sure they don't expect to like have Battlehawk numbers every week from the other teams, but we'll see what their plan is going forward. All right. Then Sunday we had the other two games. The Birmingham Stallions traveled to Michigan and defeated the Panthers 20-13. But this was a closer game. That score, while it was a 1 point game or a 1 point, one possession game.
Right.
I thought the Panthers defense played pretty well for the most part. They
Yep.
kind of had that same problem the Detroit Lions had, which is they can't stop a running quarterback. And Birmingham using a two quarterback offense has been working wonders for them because both those guys can move and they got different skill sets. So like it's interesting seeing both quarterbacks going out there and it's working. It's hard to see that working in a lot of either professional leagues or just even in college. Sometimes having a two quarterback system is kind of iffy, but Birmingham, two-time USFL champs,
Yep.
making it work.
Going 2-0 so far this
They've
year.
gone 2-0. They look really good, but I also give credit to the Panthers for not getting blown out.
Right. They were in it right to the end of the game.
They were. The
and
Panthers had a chance to win it, but they just couldn't stop shooting themselves in the foot.
yep, they were working their way down the field. The
Basically,
Panthers
their red
were.
pants. I actually like that look. I know the red pants the Panthers were, the plum, whatever you want to call it.
Oh,
They
yeah,
actually,
yeah.
it worked. Like I know you're a purist when it comes to your Michigan Panthers. Normally they got the gold pants, but I was like, oh, the red or the pants that blend with this jersey. I kind of like. I just want to throw that out there. I'm sure we'll keep talking about uniforms today. That might be a theme.
Yeah.
But the other story from this game, for the Michigan Panthers at least, kicker Jake Bates again coming in. He kicked a 62-yarder at the end of the first half,
Yep.
and you could hear the crowd going, "We want Jake. We want Jake." So the two cheers you're going to hear around Detroit from now on is Jared Goff and we want Jake. And so he booted that one, and I was like, oh boy, a 62-yarder. This is going to be crazy. And I didn't really know if he'd do it again. I was like, come on, it was probably a one-time thing. Don't get my hopes up. But when he made that, I was like, I think I stood up and said, Brad Holmes, you better call this man right now.
Yeah, that there was no doubt on that one.
Because I was worried before the game they were doing like interview with him before the actual game started, and the lady that was on the sideline was like standing a few feet away, like, well, I don't want to interrupt your kicking routine, but I just wanted to ask you some questions. And he's like, yeah, okay. He's like kicking 38-yard field goals where he misses it, it hits like the upright. I'm like, oh yeah, he's human. He's human after all. But then he goes and he kicks that 62-yarder during the
Right.
game, clutch, and then he kicks a 52-yarder, which I'm like, this dude hurting his average of 60 yards a kick.
Yes. Yeah, some people were, I saw some places said 52, others said 53 yards on the
I thought it
second
was
one.
54, but yeah, 52 might be right.
Yeah, but
But
either
still
way, I
impressive.
mean, to have three field goals like that now this season, it shows he was not just a one shot, wonder
Yeah.
that got lucky twice, in the same game. But now we know that he can be clutch if he needs to be,
And
at least
somebody
from what we've seen so far.
somebody showed him, I don't remember, it might have been at halftime, somebody showed him a stat somebody posted on Twitter that even in the NFL, there's only been one instance where somebody has kicked 60-yard field goals in back-to-back weeks.
Mm,
And I believe it was like 2018 or 2019. Matt Maher, I want to say, was the kicker. I could be
mm,
wrong.
mm.
Uh, but yeah, so it happened one time in the NFL, and now this kid's done it in the
Yeah,
UFL. Could he make it 3 straight weeks? That's a legit option for the Panthers now. They're in that range. It's like, just send Jake out there.
right.
Let him boot a 70-yarder. I'm waiting for that moment
Yeah.
to happen. That is what's going to make the Michigan Panthers a draw, which is really weird. Like, you hear in that crowd getting excited over a kicker.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a star in the making, which is insane. That everybody talking about the kicker
Hmm.
from a Michigan Panthers team is awesome, and it's just so much fun.
Well, the week we were there, the attendance was 9,444, and I don't remember the exact number, but it
It's
was
like
seven
7,000 something.
7,000 something,
Yeah,
7,500 maybe, I don't know, but yeah, it was in the 7,000s for the second week, and I thought they might at least draw the same number after that kick to see
right.
what the kick. Now we'll see the next game if
Yeah, they got
people
another
go,
home game. They got
okay, I
like 3
better go
straight
see
home
this
games.
this kicker in person. No
Yeah.
telling what he might do.
Right.
It's like going to see Mark the Bird Fidrich with the Tigers back in many years ago.
All right, and then the final game of the week, the DC Defenders defeated the Houston Roughnecks 23-18. This is another back and forth game for a lot of it. Some big turnovers. And now the Defenders are apparently 10-0 at home, so it's tough to play where the Defenders are playing right now. And of course, they have the infamous, the magical, the mythical beast that is the beer snake has returneth, and his cuppeth runneth amongeth all thateth.
That was the only highlight I saw.
Was the beer
The
snake.
beer snake. Oh, bear snake's getting long, and it's early in the game already.
Someday there will be religions based around this beer
Yeah.
snake, and I'm all here for it. Somebody better make those T-shirts up. That's a great idea. The Church of the Beer Snake.
Jeez.
But no.
Be a beer snake handler.
Oh, there you go. The beer snake. Man, if we had a T-shirt department right now, I'd turn to them and say, "Get on that right now."
Church of the beer snake handler.
Church of the Beer Snake. Oh my God, Randy, we could go to Washington, just sit outside. We don't even have to go to the game. Let's just hand out T-shirts like those guys that pass out Kalamazoo, freaking Michigan. Whoop! I just
Oh, yeah.
smacked my mic. But I'm getting all excited about this opportunity. Nobody steal this idea.
The guy selling the preseason champions
Yeah,
or the
we
two.
could be those guys. Beer snake wranglers, man. Like, we could be making a fortune. But no, the DC fan base there has been great too. I didn't see what their attendance number was, but they show up for them too. They have
Sure,
fun for those
yes.
games, so that's a lot of fun. And on the whole, though, I think it was a great, just competitive wise.
Right.
Leave the attendance stuff at the door. I know people are going to use that to, try to knock the league down a few pegs, but I think what the league is putting on the field is legitimately good football now,
Yeah.
which has been our big concern over like the AAF kind of being sloppy. Even the start of the XFL, even the start of the USFL was sloppy, but now I think they have I think merging these two leagues 2 weeks in, it's still a little early. Merging these two leagues might have been the smartest decision because you're pooling your resources, you're getting really good players, talented guys, and we're seeing a lot of the cream rise to the top. You're seeing the Jake Bates come out. Like, they already had a kicker from the USFL go up to the NFL kicking. Audrey I think is his name. He's with the Cowboys now.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And like positions like that usually don't get looked at, because Bates, never kicked a field goal
Right.
since high school.
Nobody's
So
ever really scouted him.
so yeah, so this is what this league is for. Now I'm excited to see them expand and like, can they make this a competitive league with some more teams?
Mm.
Eh, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is very promising as a start. Attendance wise, I know that's going to need some work. They're going to have to figure that part out. But you got the TV deal in place, so that's going to band-aid a lot of that hurt of your attendance. The stuff at the gate. They're slowly starting to come out with good product, like on their website, merchandise stuff. So, I am a fan of the UFL, and I'm tired of seeing a lot of the slander. I'm sure there is some fair criticism. We're going to talk about that
Yeah.
in a second, but on the whole, though, I think the UFL is doing a lot right.
Mhm.
So, all
Okay.
right, do you want to tackle the news stories?
Yeah, this is something that came out last week, but we kind of already knew this from the time we were
Yeah.
at the Michigan Panthers game. The UFL names the U.S. Army as their exclusive presenting partner. As part of the agreement, the Army logo will be featured on all UFL game day jerseys. We saw that two
Yep.
weeks ago before they made this announcement, so it was already in place. As well as on the 50-yard line of their games. There will be Army uh, activities at the UFL games, including a spotlight honoring veterans and current Army personnel who have served our nation. Now, you didn't see this because I taped the game and I watched the whole thing a day or so later after we were there, and uh, they were interviewing, like Michigan Army National Guard
Oh, yeah.
soldiers on the sidelines. So that's where this is all coming from. So I knew that, the Army was heavily involved with the league, and we saw it firsthand with the Panthers.
I think they had some stuff in place, and then they made the official announcement because,
Right.
like at Ford Field, like watching that Michigan Panthers game on Saturday, they didn't have it on the field itself, but they digitally put in the U.S. Army at the 50-yard line. I think the other fields, I'm sure there's a deal with Ford Field where they can't have that on the field because it's the Lions field technically,
I don't know.
so they probably can't put sponsorship on there, so they had to do it through the
Digitally.
digitally. But yeah, I noticed all over, and then whenever they'd cut to the review booth, they called it the Army review room. I don't know, they had a special name for it that had the sponsorship name in it. So, oh yeah, it was all over the place this weekend. So good for them. Sponsors are important, and I'd say the U.S. Army is a pretty good sponsor.
Yep. And then this other story you just found today. I guess it was today,
I found
wasn't
it a
it?
few days ago,
Okay,
but
I hadn't heard about this until you brought it up to my attention. The UFL Players Association has filed a grievance against the league for violating the collective bargaining agreement, essentially saying that the league is not going to be putting out player awards such as the Player of the Week or
defensive
Defensive
player,
Player of the Week,
yeah,
all that.
kicker
Uh,
of the week, 2 weeks in a row.
yeah, yeah, in an effort so they won't have to pay bonuses to these individuals for receiving a weekly award.
Mm,
So there's a grievance against that.
interesting.
I think the league is saying, well, the way we understand it, it's against the CBA for us to do that. But the CBA or the Players Association is saying no, it's not. So they're gonna have to work this out.
Yeah, it's a small little thing, but you hate to see that because I think that helps and is the point of this league. Like, hey, Jake Bates has been
Right.
special teams player of the week
Yeah.
2 weeks in a
You
row.
want to get
Like,
those names out there.
yeah, that's the whole point.
Maybe you don't see the game, you don't see the highlights, but all of a sudden you hear that so and so was defensive player of the game. Now people are like, oh, well, let's see why'd he win defensive player of the week? Let's
Yeah.
check out some
And there's
highlights.
been so many good receivers who've been putting up some decent games for other teams, like giving them like offensive player of the some of these quarterbacks you might have heard of, like, oh, who's this receiver that's Bob?
Hmm.
Stuff like that. So I'm sure hopefully they work that out and they can, resolve that.
Okay. You want me to take over with some of the scores here
I mean,
of the stories?
I can do scores if you want to do the news items when we get to
Okay,
them.
sure.
Yeah,
Go for
this
it.
is a new format for us, so we're figuring it out on the fly.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna now go to the indoor football league where they had their week 4 slate of games and
5 games altogether.
5 games altogether.
All on Saturday this week.
Interesting. All right, the Northern Arizona Wranglers defeated the San Antonio Gunslingers 57-50. The Bay Area Panthers took out the Jacksonville Sharks 48-24. The Tucson Sugar Skulls defeated the Duke City Gladiators 56-49. The Green Bay Blizzard defeated the Quad City Steamwheelers 32-24, and the Tulsa Oilers defeated the Iowa Barnstormers 39-31. On bye this week, a whole slew of teams,
Yeah.
including the San Diego Strike Force, Arizona Rattlers, Frisco Fighters, Vegas Nighthawks, Massachusetts Pirates, and Sioux Falls Storm. That's 6 teams on bye this week.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it for the scores. But Randy, do we have one IFL news item?
Yeah, the Indoor Football League is going to be adding condensed versions of their games on YouTube, kind of similar to what the CFL has always
Yeah.
done. They put like an 8-minute highlight package of all their games. Of course, the most they have is 4 games in a week. The Indoor Football League's got a lot more games. I had 5 games this week,
I feel for
but
that editor.
and I looked for it this morning and I didn't see it, but you found it and said it was posted a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So
For
there
week
are,
3,
yeah,
so
and they're like what about 3.5 minute
the average
minutes
about
long.
like the longest is about 4 something, but they're no shorter than 3 minutes,
Okay.
which would help us out because like I said, we only read the scores. It would be nice to because I can't sit down and watch a full
Right, yeah.
indoor game as much as I like to. I try to watch bits and pieces every now and then,
And
but
and they do have the full game
oh,
out
they do. You can watch the
on
full game
YouTube,
if you
yeah,
want
if
to.
you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, for our purposes, having these condensed games, yeah, we'll be able to look at a lot more highlights and
And hopefully, if they put it out in time, if it's like by the time we're done recording, then they post their
yeah,
week 4 games. That
right, yeah. It
so
might
I
be a
feel for
little,
that editor.
that,
Having edited all our stuff, it's time consuming.
but at least they're doing that. So maybe by watching the condensed versions, people might say, that one team looks pretty good. I think
Yeah.
maybe I'll watch their game this week.
Yeah. So
So it can only help.
yeah, I like the idea that they're doing this. I think the IFL
Yeah, it is. It's a genius idea. Yes,
a Gegis.
absolutely,
What's a Gegis?
genius.
Oh, you said Gegis.
I said
Who's
genius.
Gegis? Did he die on the cross for our sins? Oh, Gegis.
I'm backing away because you might get hit by a bolt of lightning or something.
If only.
Yeah.
Get me out of this show. All right. Little Stadler and Waldorf. Is that Statler? Statler and Waldorf.
Who's Stadler?
I have no idea. Dang it! I hate it when it turns around on me. All
Do the
right.
AIF scores.
All right. So we're gonna move on to the AIF. As I
That's American Indoor Football Team.
American Indoor Football
Week 4.
Week 4. Sorry, I gotta also write down the timestamps as I'm going along.
Well,
So you
there's
gotta give
only
me
one score. Let me do this one.
Okay, fine.
One score, one game on Saturday. The Harrisburg Stampede defeated the Cedar Rapids River Kings 44-29, and that left the rest of the league on bye: the Columbus Lions, the Corpus Christi Tritons, and the Amarillo Venom. So just one game in the AIF last week. All right, you want me to go on with the NAL scores?
You go
Got
for
two
it.
of them. It's twice as many.
All right.
All right, the National Arena League Week 4, they had 2 games on Saturday. It was the Carolina Cobras defeating the Colorado Spartans 44-35, and it was the Sioux City Bandits defeating the Oklahoma. Oklahoma City? I just wrote down Oklahoma.
I think it's the Oklahoma Flying Aces. I
I
think.
thought
I
it
don't
was
know.
Oklahoma City.
I don't know. You didn't
I'll
write the
have to
city
double
down, did
check.
you?
But it's the Flying Aces of Oklahoma lost to Sioux City by the score of 42-24, and that left 2 teams on bye this week: the Omaha Beef and the Idaho Northmen.
Okay. And then we're going to move on now to La Liga or the Liga de Football American Profesional. I'm still working on
Yeah, man, you mentioned
LFA for short.
in Mexico.
In Mexico.
Week 5.
I'm trying to write down these timestamps. This is really hard to do both of these at the same time.
Well, I can do these scores too.
Go for it.
All right, they had a game on Thursday where the Dinos defeated the Melters 41-20. On Saturday, the Mexicans defeated the Raptors 29-21. Also on Saturday, the Black Roosters defeated the Greyhounds 20-16. And on Sunday, the Leaders defeated the Kings 49-17. And one team on bye each week, and this week it was the Bosses who were on bye.
Now I was on their YouTube channel, and I like that they got so much stuff. They got their own like little sideline report. Like it wasn't really a sideline. It was like they got little special videos, highlighting stuff in the league. And while I do not speak Spanish, I mean, I think it's great that this league's got such a nice little presence on YouTube. Like a lot of these leagues, I think YouTube has been a big uh, blessing for putting out leagues that wouldn't normally get like a big TV contract in the States. So if you're into this kind of stuff like us, I casually will turn on like, oh, there's a LFA game on right now. Let me turn this on for a little bit and just watch a little bit. And
If nothing else, just to check out the uniforms and their helmets and what do they look like. that sort of thing.
Right, and like we might not follow it as closely as I think people would like us. Like we want every detail on the LFA. It's like, well, if you want us to detail it, why don't you? Like if you like, I like the fact that they got this league down there. I mean,
Sure.
we've heard of players from this league coming up to, I think, to the CFL before,
Yep.
and so this is just another league with more opportunity for players. Granted, right now I don't see a lot of names that jump out at me, and but I just want to give them a highlight. We like to give a little section of the show to them, even if we don't talk about them for more than a few minutes.
Just
But
to bring awareness that there
yeah,
is a team down or a league down in Mexico
because
that you
maybe
might
you'll
want to
maybe
check
you'll be
out.
the expert. Maybe this will spark you to go, you know what? I want to be the LFA expert. I want to start my LFA podcast. I want to start my LFA fan YouTube channel.
There you go.
That's what's great about it. Why we like highlighting all the different stuff. Like it's fantastic.
Yeah,
And
I mean, who wouldn't want to watch a game between the Black Roosters and the Greyhounds?
that's true. And I honestly think that their league championship trophy is one of the coolest trophies out there. If you get a chance to go look it up, it is a really cool trophy in
Hmm,
my opinion.
okay.
It's like a mix between the Wimbledon trophy and the Super Bowl trophy.
Hmm.
Uh, I know that's a weird description, but I think you'll know it when you see it. You'll see what I'm getting at. But all right, we're gonna go
Okay.
from that, and we're gonna throw it over to Randy, who we're gonna throw it to the NFL. A little league called the NFL. We
Hmm.
got some news in there.
Yeah, a couple of items this week. Voters in Kansas City turned down a sales tax proposal that would have funded major renovations at Arrowhead Stadium. Now, I've already seen headlines speculating, is Kansas City going to be moving out of is the team going to be moving because they can't get renovations on their stadium? That is a pretty old stadium,
Yeah,
and I can see where they probably need some renovations or whatever, but um, I don't know if a sales tax increase is the way to go, maybe like a separate, millage proposal. I don't know. I don't
they'll
know all
get
the
it figured out.
details.
There is no way the Kansas City Chiefs will leave Kansas City.
Right. I
As
don't
much
think
as the
so either.
Dallas mayor's trying to lure them back to Dallas to have two teams in Dallas
Oh
again.
yeah. Oh, that worked out well the first couple of years there
I mean,
in the
shoot,
'60s.
the Kansas City Chiefs would probably automatically be the bigger team in Dallas than the Cowboys. I'll tell you that right now. But no, what's going to happen is Patrick Mahomes is just going to keep adding on to his property. They're going to put the new stadium there, so he's just got to roll out of bed, get on his golf cart, go through his golf course and his practice field and whatever other else things he's been building in that big backyard of his, and just drop down to his own stadium, and that's all he's got to do. Because that's how much stinking money this dude's making.
He
Half
just
a
needs to
half
do
a billion
a,
dollars for this
a
team.
couple of more shampoo commercials or a couple of more State
Shoot.
Farm commercials and just donate all that money to renovations to the stadium. He'll take care of it himself.
They'll figure it out. We hear about this all the time. The threats of moving the team and
Oh
blah
yeah.
blah blah.
Yeah.
It always gets resolved. I can't even think of the last time a team other than the Rams actually legitimately moved because they wouldn't
Right.
do that. And who knows? Or if they do, we'll just have the Kansas City Battlehawks version in a few years in the UFL.
Who knows? In another NFL story, um, a lot of people were let go last week by the NFL Network, including Will Selva, an NFL insider who has appeared on Good Morning America for many
Good
years.
Morning Football.
I'm sorry, Good Morning Football. He'd been doing that show for 11 years, and it's like they're cleaning house there at the NFL Network, and so I don't know how that is going to affect, the Good Morning America show coming to
Good Morning Football.
Good Morning Football, going to Los Angeles. This was probably part of what they knew. The people at Good Morning Football knew behind the scenes that a lot of people were going to be losing their jobs in this move. So yeah, it's a weird situation at the NFL Network right
Sounds like a
now.
lot of restructuring and
Yeah,
probably just sending a lot of their stuff to LA, probably cheaper cost because they've, I mean, a lot of those people though are already in LA. That's the thing. That's what
yeah.
gets me. So I don't know. We'll have to see what this all does. We got all summer for this, and with them getting arena football games on there too, if that's going to cover up, allowing them to not need as many on-air personalities, because guess what? We're going to fill in some airspace with arena football. We're going to have all these other programs. We don't need as many anchors or whatever. Like, who knows?
They're getting replaced by AI
Oh God, I hope.
avatars.
Oh God, I hope not. That'd be a poor decision.
Yeah, really. All right, let's move on to some college news. A super league is being proposed in college football.
Okay, I'm listening.
The I heard about this and I kind of looked up some of the details today, and I can't say as I'm a big fan of this.
I saw this because it's from The Athletic, I think, is who put this article out. But I'm not going to pay for The Athletic, but I will read all the notes that everybody else who pays for The
There's been a
Athletic put
couple
out
different
there.
articles in different places. I don't know if it's all the same article, but you can find it in several different places. But under this proposed system that they're talking about, the conferences, the, the college football conferences would go away.
I'm
No more
okay.
Big Ten,
I'm
no
okay.
more
I'm
SEC.
actually okay with that.
I don't know if I like that. You know me, I hate
Yeah,
change.
we've
You
learned
know
that.
that, and so I'm not crazy about a lot of these things here. The current playoff system would go away. And they've been spending so much time expanding the playoff system and uh, tweaking it and whatever, and getting a new contract for it for the next several years. So man, I don't know.
But just
This is
keep
all just
going.
talking right
Just
now.
keep going. Yeah.
All right, the playoff system is going to go away. In their place would be a league with 70 fixed teams and 10 other teams that will be subject to relegation and promotion from the remaining 60 schools.
I am all for
That's
this.
what they do in
In
soccer,
European soccer.
European soccer.
And
Yeah.
I was going to do a video because I wanted to do a video like on how to fix college football, which
Mhm.
now with this out, it's kind of what my idea would have been. I think I've talked about it on here before, my gold and silver league. But essentially now,
Yeah, you've talked about it.
which yeah, I think doing that system because Western Michigan, yeah, I won't say they don't deserve to play with the big boys, but it's different. While they're
Right,
all Division 1A or whatever it was called,
right.
it was they never had a fair shake at a national championship. But if you do it like this, where there's 70 teams in this top tier, and you can do some relegation, where like, hey, you're West, like we've talked about it, Western Michigan, you have a great season. There's 10 spots in this other league. You can just fill in that spot. We'll
Right,
send down Northwestern. You're
right,
coming up.
right.
I kind of like that idea, but it's still all those same level of football still playing each other,
Hmm.
and I think it would be fun and interesting, and they would get out of from under the thumb of the NCAA, which is the big point of this,
Hmm.
is to get rid of that governing body of the NCAA, creating a super football league of college teams that I think would benefit these schools and these players a lot more. We would get rid of the whole, oh, you bought a cheeseburger for a guy, you're suspended 3 games. Like, what
Yeah,
is that lunacy? Like, it's
yeah,
so dumb.
yeah.
And I just want to see us move on to like, because we all know college football is essentially professional football.
True.
The athletes just haven't been paid for years. Now they're getting paid,
Right.
but I think, it's semi professional football at this point.
Yeah, well, let me continue with
Go ahead.
what I learned here. This Super League would have 8 10-team divisions, with the division winners and 8 wildcard qualifying teams going to a 16-team playoff. Now, here's the only part of this whole ridiculous scenario that I like. The playoff berths would be decided solely on the field.
As it should be.
Yes, no more committee to say, well, yeah, you had a great season this year. I forget who got left out last year, but we're going to put Alabama
Oh,
there
Florida
instead.
State.
Yeah, there would be none of that.
Just because their quarterback got hurt.
Yep,
Oh my
that
god.
was a
And then they
stupid
got robbed.
decision. Yep, so there
Maybe
would be no more of that.
and while they got blown out by a really good Georgia team
Hmm.
in that bowl game that they played, which is essentially kind of a playoff game that didn't count,
Right,
they deserved a shot.
right.
They put up the record. They put up the
If they
season.
won that division, won a what do you call it?
Their conference.
Yeah, their conference.
Yeah, the
They
SEC.
they should have had the opportunity to go and get blown out by somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
That was their spot to have, and it got taken away from them
All because
because they wanted Alabama in there.
all because their starting quarterback got hurt.
Well, I
Had that
think they also
no, had
wanted
that
Alabama.
quarterback been healthy, because he was a big factor,
Mhm.
they would have given it to him. But I think because that quarterback went down, oh, they're like, oh, now they're just playing with a backup, and it's definitely not the same team. Yeah, they're not getting in,
Yeah.
which I think is hogwash.
Yep.
But that's how that committee works. That's how they operate.
Yep.
And
I hate that
while
committee.
at the end of the day, while I do think that Alabama did look like the better team and was very competitive, and obviously Florida State didn't play against Georgia real well. I would rather it be, you know, you get in by your actions, not because a team, a committee goes, well, your quarterback got hurt, or your coach was suspended, so we don't think you deserve to be in
Yep.
there.
Take that whole committee out of there.
Yeah, there shouldn't be. It should be, here's the prerequisites.
Mhm.
It's like anything else in life. Like,
Yep.
it's a prerequisite. You fill all these prerequisites, you get in.
Yep. And here's some more. The players would be paid.
Yep.
So there you go. There's your professional football now in college football. They're going to pay these college players, and also the NIL and the transfer portal would be managed by the Super League, which I don't know if I like that. The NIL, saying, okay, here's what you can do for your NIL, and that's all we're going to allow you to do or whatever because we're paying you. I don't know.
Maybe
It
because
sounds
yeah, if you're if you
pretty messed up to me.
if players in the Super League are getting a contract because of with TV deals and whatever money they'd be making from this new reshaping of the college football landscape, then maybe they could go, okay, all your NIL stuff, like maybe there's a cap on it, maybe there's
Maybe they don't
some
need an. If they're
restrictions.
going to get paid, do they really need an
Yeah, then do
NIL
you even need it
anymore?
at that point? Yeah, but I don't know. I think maybe they could still do that. I feel like they deserve it because it's still your name and likeness out there. That if you want to profit off your YouTube channel, I think a defensive back from Florida State should be able to go out there, have a YouTube channel, and make money off of it if they want. Like,
Or the new video game,
yeah,
College Pro Football 2028 or
yeah.
whatever.
As long as they don't call it the Collegiate Football League, and we mix up that CFL
Yeah.
acronym in the states.
Yep.
So
But this whole idea is from a group that's known as College Sports Tomorrow, or CST, which I'd never heard of before. But
I
this is
haven't either.
this is their idea. They're pushing for it. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but this is a proposal that's out there. I read a headline that said the NFL and college football presidents are working together to make this happen, or they're talking about it. So I don't
So
know what's
in
going
a
on.
thumbs up, thumbs down world, for this basic thing, the proposal of this Super League. Maybe you don't like all the components. I know you like some, not all. Is it a thumbs up or thumbs down? Would you be okay to see it?
I say thumbs down.
Really, I'd give it a thumbs up.
I
I
knew
think
you
it's
would.
time. I think it's time for change. We've been seeing it. The writing's been on the wall. Let's just move on.
There are things that need to change, but I mean the history and the tradition of the college conferences and the rivalries and that should be maintained. But
I'm sure between certain schools,
I
oh
don't
yeah,
know.
you'll still get your Michigan Ohio State game. You'll still get the trophy rivalries, I'm sure. But
I just don't think it'll mean as much. That's just my opinion.
maybe not. We'll have to see how these divisions are set up. If maybe it's not the Big Ten conference anymore, but maybe it's the Great Lakes division
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
CFL or of the
Throw
American.
Notre Dame in there with
Throw another
Michigan
day.
State, Michigan, Ohio
So you can
State.
still keep a lot of these rivalries intact.
Yeah.
But then with the relegation, what if Ohio State or Michigan got relegated and can you still play teams that aren't in this 80 team league? Because like that would be crazy. Like a Michigan.
Yeah, well, no, next year you wouldn't be in that Great Lakes division. You'd be in the lower division, so they'd put somebody else in there.
Yeah, that's
They
what I'm saying. So
they
like,
put Boise State in there.
see, there you go. So yeah, if something like that were to happen,
That would be an interesting aspect of it, though, to have teams,
like, oh
coming and
no,
going.
Michigan can't play Ohio. I guess I would just add fuel to their rivalry because it's like, haha, you
Well,
got relegated.
I don't think they're going to do that to those teams. It's going to be some of the borderline teams,
Like that.
not your Alabamas, your Clemsons, Michigan, Notre Dame. They're not going to get relegated down
Well,
to a lower
if
level.
rules is rules, they can't just be like, well,
They'll still be making it. So they'll have a committee to decide who gets relegated and who doesn't.
oh, the whole point is they're getting rid of committees. Randy, weren't you paying attention?
I know, but they'll still have that.
Didn't you read the
They'll
summary of
screw
this article?
they'll screw that up somehow. All right, I'm done talking about that.
All right.
All right, now let's see another college story. Boise State's Albertsons Stadium will be getting a $60 million renovation that will begin at the end of the season after the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. The renovations will be completed by 2024, or I'm sorry, 2026, so it's about like a 2-year project. Let's see. Premium seating is going to be added to the north end zone. These renovations will also connect the east and west sides of the stadium with a new concourse. But in the end, it's going to reduce the total number of seats in the stadium. So I guess they're going to, it's more important for them to have premium seating so they can charge more for people to sit in that end zone as opposed to packing a number of fans in there. So it's all money.
My big question is, are they still going to keep the blue field?
Oh, I'm sure they will.
Okay, then we're good.
Yeah. But yeah, that would be kind of nice, to have a concourse that connects, so you can walk from one side to the other without, like
Yeah.
walking on a track or something. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. Everybody wants this premium seating. At first, I thought we were talking luxury seats, but it just says premium seating. So I don't know if that is luxury suites or if it's just like, bigger seats, comfy seats.
Seats that
Uh,
vibrate, like like one of the 4DX box seats that you get at the movie theater where you shake around.
it would be nice if the seats did shake so that it would shake some of the snow off there for some of these games so that you wouldn't have to have a guy come down with a rag and wipe the seat off for you
Just take
and
it the
get the
step
snow.
further. You know you want to. Just put a dome on top of it. Randy Snow. Put that on his tomb. Just put a dome over it.
You put a dome over it, I'll be there.
It's like Randy's Field of Dreams. If you put a dome over it, I will show
I'll
up.
show up. Let's see. EA Sports College Football 25 video game gets a release date finally. They've been teasing
Yeah.
this for a long time. I thought it had already had a release date, but I guess not. But the game is now going to be coming out on Friday, July 19th.
Mm.
Mark your calendars if you're dying to get this game.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm sure you can probably pre-order it. I know you want to buy it.
I do. Now the question is, depending on who they put on the cover, do I get a physical? I like getting my physical versions of stuff still,
Mhm.
movies, video games. I still like the hard version of it,
Right.
but I'm sure it'll be there digitally, so I can wake up that morning, click buy, and have it already on or pre-order it on the console and have it pre-downloaded before I even get home from work that day. Like, I'm looking forward to this. It'll be fun. I already have a coworker who is an Ohio State fan, and I just like talking crap about Ohio State. So we're probably going to play Western Michigan versus Ohio State. I'm going to clobber him because they play week 2 this year. Western versus
Oh,
Ohio
do
State.
they? Okay.
I'm already
All
talking
right.
smack
All
that
right.
we're going to go down to Columbus and beat the living snot out of those Buckeyes.
Mm.
But we'll see. I'm looking forward to this game. I know you're not a big video game person.
Yeah. No,
You've never really sat down to play. Though
I have watched you
I
guys.
want to do a YouTube video where you play the game, a game, any football game, whether it be Madden or this new college game. Do it for the clicks, Randy. As Kyle would say, do it for the clicks. Everybody, if you want Randy to play a college football game and we'll put it on YouTube, leave a comment.
No,
Yes,
that ain't
let's
happening.
do it.
No.
Oh, I'm going to be pushing this up until that happens.
But I've watched you and your brothers play some football games
It's
before.
competitive. It gets
I
cutthroat.
don't really care for it, but
Aaron one time took my Madden disc and snapped it in half. He got so mad
oh
that I
my
like.
god, I don't
Did you
remember
remember that? Oh,
No.
he got so mad at the game. He like took it out of the PlayStation and snapped the disc in half. He snapped it in half, and I believe he hit it because I was like, "Where's the game at?" He's like, "I don't know." I found it in 2 pieces,
Oh no.
and we had to rebuy it because he got that mad at the game. I mean, we've thrown controllers. Oh, it's cutthroat when we play Madden or any of those football games.
Well, I still enjoy, and your mother agrees with me on this. When we set it up outside during one of the summer nights, and you guys played it on the garage
It was
door.
during COVID.
Yeah, we had a solid white garage door, and you had your little projector, and you guys were playing Madden on
Yeah.
the garage door. We were all sitting out there in lawn chairs in the driveway, just watching you guys do that. Cars were going by, and they were like slowing down and backing up to see what the hell we're doing.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. It was a gorgeous, nice,
It was
warm summer
great. We
night.
did that. We watched some Twilight Zone as well.
Yeah,
People slowing down, like, what the
yep.
heck are they watching?
YouTube videos and whatnot, and just
Yeah.
watching stuff on the garage door. That was fun. That
Do it
was a lot
again.
of
Let's do it
fun.
again sometime.
Well, we can't now because I got a different garage door that has windows in
Get a
it.
big white
So
piece. All you gotta do is put a bed sheet up there. We'll figure it
Whatever.
out. We'll figure it out. That was fun.
Okay, well, we're going to move on to some CFL news now. The Calgary Stampeders announced the addition of Wally Buono as the newest member of the team's Wall of Fame. Buono is a former head coach and general manager of the team in the 1990s and early 2000s, and he will officially become the 50th member of the Stampeders Wall of Fame. And he's going to be honored at halftime of Calgary's game against the BC Lions on July 21st. So congratulations, Wally Buono. I think it's a well-deserved honor for him.
Yep. And it is a big missed opportunity if they don't figure out a way to do the Wally of Fame. His name is Wally. You got to do it. You got to figure out a way to incorporate Wally of Fame.
It's got a corporate sponsor. I saw what it was. I couldn't tell you.
T-shirts, hats, you name it. Send your royalty checks over here because it was my
Wally of
idea.
Fame. Let's see here. The CFL draft and the global draft. I just found out about this global draft today.
I feel like you do this every year. Like, oh, I just found out about this global. I'm pretty sure we talked about this last year too. It
Well, I
sounds
know they have a
familiar.
global draft, but I thought it was separate. But this year they're doing them on the same day.
Hey, might as well save time. You're all on the conference
Sure.
call already. Why do it 2 days in a row?
So they're doing these two drafts on Tuesday, April 30th. The Edmonton Elks have the number one pick this year, and a total of 74 players are going to be selected over 8 rounds. In the global draft, 18 players will be selected in 2 rounds from partner leagues around the world, like
The
the
LFA.
LFA and
Probably
some
the
European
European
leagues.
League of Football over
Yep,
there.
yep. So
Probably
yeah,
some other leagues we don't even know about.
yeah, they went through and a couple of years ago we talked about all the leagues that they were
Yeah.
signing up as partner leagues or sending representatives
Hmm.
from to, and now they're going to be drafting 18 players from these other leagues um, uh, on the same day as the regular draft, and it's basically the same draft order for both drafts.
Yeah.
So Edmonton will have the first pick in both of those drafts. But yeah, 2 rounds for the global players, 8 rounds for the Canadian players, and that's all coming up on the 30th of April. All right, Arena Football League news. We're getting so many uniform.
They've done one a day since
Yeah,
last Tuesday when they started. I think they started with the Soul.
I think the Soul was the first one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So, and now we've got the Orlando Predators, the Philadelphia Soul, the Albany Empire, the Southwest Kansas Storm, the Nashville Cats, and the Georgia Force have all released
yeah,
uniforms.
Georgia's was just released before we hit record,
Hmm.
and a lot of criticism of some of these uniforms, mainly from myself.
Because there are way too many black uniforms.
Oh boy,
It's,
I'm like, and that's only
there are other
six.
colors,
That's
folks.
6 teams. We have 10 left. I know the Oregon Black Bears color is black as well. Like, I'm gonna be shocked if their jersey isn't black.
Yeah,
But like the Nashville Cats is black.
right.
The Predators black, which we expected, and the
Predators have always
Firebirds is
been
black.
black. Yeah.
There's too much similarity, and it already looks like, even if you look at the Southwest Kansas Storms uniform and the Georgia Force they released today, while I don't think they're bad, there is a template. It's like this clothing brand they're using, which the name escapes me at the moment. I could probably look it up, but uh, it's like they have four or like three different uh, styles you could choose from. Like in a video game, like in Madden, it used to be you could customize a team jersey.
Right.
You'd get like 7 or 8 different options. Like, and that's it. That's all you got to choose. It's like there's no uniqueness really. It's like, oh, you went with the feathered shoulders option. Thank you very much. We're going to put 2 colors there. Or, oh, you went with the all black option. Okay, thank you. And the third option is probably the one the Soul have, which is, oh, you chose the modern jersey with all the different colors going up the side of your jersey. Like, it's just like, it's maddening to me. And while I am going to be Mr. Critical with like the uniform numbers all looking the same, that still bugs me a little bit, but there is um the Storm's uniform. They have like 2 colors kind of outlining that the number, the font of the number looks a lot better. I don't know what it is. Having those 2 colors there, I don't know what it is. Takes away from it going like, oh, that looks like the exact same, you know, font as everything else. Because it's like everybody, like when you go onto a computer and you write down something and you bold it, like you make your font bold and you put like an outline around it. That's what it looks like. Maybe that's why I don't like it, because it's like one boring, you just put a bold outline on something and it just looks bloated and blah. But the 2 colors really did something to, you know, uh, make it look a little more appealing to me. That's just me. We don't have to keep going on about this, but I'm just overall the Arena Football League, and even, are these the final uniforms? Because the Firebirds tweeted out that that's not their helmet they're gonna wear. So like, what's the point then? Like, of these uniform reveals? Like, maybe they should have just done the jerseys if the rest of the ensemble isn't the ensemble.
Well, they want to have a football jersey reveal. They're getting excitement for the upcoming season in a couple weeks. So yeah, I understand putting
I
out
get it too,
everybody's
but like, if it's
uniform.
not ready, like how could you not have your right helmet ready when we're 18 days away, however
I
many
don't know.
days away from the start of the season? Like, I don't know. I'm not trying to hate. That's the thing that I don't want people to misconstrue is I only criticize because, like, the Nashville Cats, that blue uniform with that silver helmet
Right.
back in the day
Yeah, they've never had black in their
was
uniform
great.
colors.
And then even when they came back after they folded the first time, they kind of adopted more of a Tennessee Titans look with the white helmet, the powder blues. I like those too. I was like, that's not
Right.
a bad look. They
Right.
kind of chose a new scheme, and that's cool. So I figured with this, they have a yellow kind of being a more prominent theme. I was like, oh, Maybe we'll get a blue jersey with yellow numbers, or maybe we'll get a yellow jersey. Maybe that'll be unique. A yellow football jersey. Didn't even do that. Like they went with black. Huh? Like you release all your team logos, and there is no hint of that black's a primary color in your logo scheme. And all of a sudden you have a black uniform. Like what? You're the Albany Firebirds. You have orange as your big color scheme, and you're going with all black. It's just I don't know. It's maddening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Blackwell of football uniforms.
You can find me on my public radio.
You don't even know who Mr.
I
Blackwell
have
is.
no idea who you're
He
talking
was
about.
a fashion guy that was always critiquing
Oh,
Hollywood actors and actresses'
can you
clothing.
can you do that for our show? We could
No,
probably use a
I'm not
fashion
even sure if he's
division.
around anymore, but
The World of Football Fashion Division. There we
I don't
go.
think so. All right, the Salina Liberty hosted the Wichita Regulators in the AFL in a scrimmage the other day, which I didn't know about until you
I
sent me
didn't know it
something
was a thing
yesterday.
until I saw what was it, the AFL Fan Zone. Let's
Mm,
throw them some love. That they were like live streaming
okay.
from there. So I don't know if a lot of people got invited to this event that were
Yeah,
like
it
kind of
didn't get much
AFL pundits.
publicity, but maybe it was a last minute thing. They said, "Hey, let's just get together and
I
run
think
some
they had
plays."
this scrimmage plan. Maybe it just wasn't.
Advertised.
I because we've heard of some other little scrimmages that'll probably be played between a couple of teams. I know, like I think next week or on the 20th, there's supposed to be another one for I forget which teams. Because when those schedules came out, teams did have like a preseason game. We talked about one at one point. So I'm sure there's going to be a few of these going around. They probably just won't be open to the public.
Mm,
But it did look like they had a few people there kind of watching, whether that be family or people from the league maybe there just to
mm,
kind of
mm-hmm.
check things out.
Yeah.
Hard to say, but I watched a little bit of the scrimmage. It's not like it was filmed to be like, here's the game, but
Right.
it was interesting, and um, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm glad to hear that we're actually getting real football rolling for
Yeah.
this
Well,
league.
this is the first scrimmage, between a couple of AFL teams that we've heard about
Yeah.
right now. So this would be the first one, and I guess the score was the Liberty won the scrimmage 38-28. Whether that means anything or
Yeah.
not, but that was what was reported.
And I was wondering if they would be some of the next teams to get their uniform reveal since they were actually like kind of in action yesterday. Not that the uniforms they wore during the game were the real uniforms, but I think they might have wore like their prep pass uniforms or something like that. But very interesting still.
And finally, in Arena Football League news, a trailer for a docuseries
Yeah.
called Echoes of the Arena, the AFL Revival, has been released. That's also features Tim Capper in there. They
Yeah.
interviewed him for some of the segments. No release date right now, but I'll bet if you go to Arena Fan, you can find that trailer.
Yep, that the official AFL website was like a minute long trailer. You know, I'm wondering how this will play, like where it'll play. Is it going to be on NFL Network? Is it going to be
Hmm.
on one of the other partners that maybe they have yet to be announced that Tim kind of not teased, but he said they might be working on another deal. We don't know yet. We'll see.
Okay.
So who knows where this is going to stream? Maybe it'll go straight to their YouTube channel. I don't know. It looks pretty professional. Tim was kind of telling us off camera and off mic,
Hmm.
some of the details about
Yeah,
this.
he was going to
So
be involved in it.
yeah, so very fascinating,
Yep.
and
Can't wait to watch it.
can't wait to watch it. And yeah,
Coming to a local theater near you. I don't think
I'm
so.
sure. Hey, for if anything, it'll be more stuff for us to talk about.
Can we get it in IMAX?
I would go to see that in a theater.
All right, let's see. Today's birthdays for April 9th. Curly Lambeau, born on this date in 1898, passed away in 1965 at the age of 67. He played college football at Wisconsin and at Notre Dame, and he founded the Green Bay Packers in 1919 and was a player and coach on the team through the 1929 season. The Packers joined the NFL in 1921, and he was the head coach of the team through 1949 and led the Packers to 6 NFL championships: 1929, 1930, 1931, 36, 39, and 1944. His last season as the Packers head coach was 1949, and a lot of people don't remember this, but he went on to become the Chicago Cardinals head coach for 2 seasons from 1950 to 1951. And he was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1963, their inaugural season of uh, inducting people into the Hall of Fame. The other birthday today is that of Paul Robeson, born on this date in 1890. Or sorry, I got it's 1898. It's the same as Curly Lambeau. I wrote it down wrong here on my notes, but he passed away in 1976 at the age of 77. He played college football at Rutgers and was an end and tackle with the Akron Pros in 1921 and with the Milwaukee Badgers in 1922. So he had a brief NFL career, but more importantly, he went on to become an actor, a singer, a lawyer, and an activist. So he had quite the career. I've seen some videos of him singing. He was a great singer,
Mm,
and like he played Othello in Shakespeare, and so I mean he did all kinds of acting, and he was a big activist for African American rights and whatnot. Um, and he went to school and became a lawyer. So is there anything this guy couldn't do?
yeah. I won't be surprised the next time we go on a road trip. He's like, "Hey, you want to hear Curly Lambeau sing?" Or not, Paul
Curly
Robeson.
Lamb,
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I kept picturing Curly Lambeau saying. I was like, "Really? That's interesting."
No, Paul Robeson.
I'm sorry. I was too busy looking up football news while you were doing that last
Yeah,
part.
I have to look up his grave, see where that's at. Let me make a visit to that.
Of course.
Let's see here. Okay, well, now we're getting into our obituaries. We have four of them this week. This is where we take a moment and honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first obituary is that of Mike Colon, a linebacker in the NFL for 7 seasons. He's passed away at the age of 76. His nickname was Captain Crunch, and he played college football at Auburn and was selected in the 12th round of the 1970 NFL Draft by the Miami Dolphins. He played his entire career with the Dolphins from 1970 to 1977, winning back-to-back Super Bowls with the team in 1972 and 1973. Obviously, a member of the 1972 undefeated team, but he did not play in 1976.
Our next obituary is that of Alvin Haymond, a defensive back and kick returner in the NFL for 10 seasons, has passed away at the age of 81. Haymond played college football at Southern University and was selected in the 18th round of the 1964 NFL Draft by the Baltimore Colts. He played for the Colts from 1964 to 1967, the Philadelphia Eagles in 1968, the Los Angeles Rams from 1969 to 1971, the Washington Redskins in 1972, and the Houston Oilers in 1973. He led the NFL in punt return yardage 3 times.
The next obituary is Larry Beitall, Beighttol. I think
Vital?
Beitall, uh, a longtime coach in college and in the NFL, has passed away at the age of 81. Beitall started out as an assistant coach in college at William and Mary. He also coached at North Carolina State, Auburn, and Arkansas before becoming the head coach at Louisiana Tech in 1979. His last stop in college was as an assistant coach of Missouri between 83 and 84. Brighthall then moved to the NFL, where he was an assistant coach for over 20 years. He coached with the Atlanta Falcons, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, San Diego Chargers, New York Jets, Houston Oilers, Miami Dolphins, Green Bay Packers, and he ended his coaching career with the Detroit Lions in 2006.
And our final obituary this week is that of Jim Hopson, a former player and executive in the Canadian Football League. He has passed of colon cancer at the age of 73. Hopson played guard and tackle for the Saskatchewan Roughriders from 1973 to 1976. He went on to be the team's first full-time president and CEO. Under his leadership, the Rough Riders reached the Grey Cup championship game 4 times in 2007, 2009, 2010, and 2013. They won titles in 2007 and 2013. Hopson was inducted into the Rough Riders Plaza of Honor in 2018, the Canadian Football Hall of Fame in 2019, and the Regina Sports Hall of Fame in 2020.
2022.
Sorry, 2022. Yep, there was one more too.
All right, upcoming events calendar. Saturday, April 20th, Adam and I are going to the Western New York Pro Football Researchers Association meeting in Springville, New York,
You're not invited.
put on by Jeffrey Miller.
Yes, he always does a great job.
Yep,
I had a
I think
lot
this
of
is
fun
the
last
8th year
year.
he's done this.
This will be my second year in a row
Mm,
going.
yeah.
I thought he did an excellent job last
Yes,
year.
he
Jeffrey,
always
if you're
does.
listening, keep up the good work.
Always has a great lineup of speakers,
Yes, he
former
does.
Bills players.
It's also good to meet and see a lot of the guys, even though I think there's a few people like us who are just kind of outside the Western New York area, so we like to flood in because they got a lot of good people there. I like seeing a lot of those guys.
Yeah, they get a lot of guys from many different states.
Yeah,
From Chicago, we're from Kalamazoo, and you got people that come from the Washington D.C.
yeah.
area. They come to a little town, Springville, New York, which is just south of Buffalo, for a day of just talking football.
Oh yeah, it'll be a good time. We'll go out have dinner and drinks the
Yep,
night before, I
yep,
think, and should be a good time. And
yeah,
we'll probably talk about that experience in a few weeks.
yep. Looking forward to that. And then April 25th through the 27th, the NFL Draft in Detroit. I've got my QR code. Have you done that yet? Have you downloaded
I have downloaded
the
the
app?
app,
Okay.
which I did last week. I have not got any progress
Okay. Well,
after
it just
that.
takes a minute to
Yeah, I just
register
got. I mean,
for it.
it's sitting there. I just have
Yep.
to fill it out.
Yep. And something I was saying the other day is I should probably think about buying some parking in advance.
Mm,
And I looked at it today, and using the app that we've used for the last couple of games we've gone to, and parking on that day is like $200 or more.
yikes!
So I don't know if that's true or what, but yeah, parking is our only issue right now. We'll have our QR code to get into the um, NFL draft area, but where the heck are we gonna park?
I think I know somebody who's supposed to be going to the other 2 days of the draft, so that might also be a factor. If it sounds like it's going to be a headache to find parking, and I don't know, we might have to park really far away and then walk to the
Is he
event.
staying at a hotel?
He might be. I'll have to ask him. I'll
You know,
text
we
him.
could we could go park at his hotel and then all ride together if he's got arrangements made.
I'll text and ask
Oh,
him, but no
okay,
guarantees.
okay. Let's see. Also on Saturday, April 27th, the 33rd Arena Football League season begins. They have a game that evening right after the draft on NFL Network. That's going to be the Orlando Predators versus the Albany Firebirds at 8 o'clock that evening.
I hope they both don't wear their home uniforms for that.
Yeah,
That might get real confusing.
yeah. Especially if you're watching it on a black and white
Oh
television.
my goodness.
Let's see. Saturday, April 27th, same day, the Women's Football Alliance season kicks off. Tuesday, April 30th, the CFL draft in Toronto. Edmonton Elks have the number one pick, and they're going to be picking 74 players in 8 rounds. Friday, May 24th, the European League of Football season begins. Thursday, June 6th, the CFL regular season begins. Can't wait for that. Sunday, June 9th, the Arena Football League championship game should be played. And we had a big discussion about this
Yeah.
on the video that we just posted with him. I I thought it was one place. He says it's going to be someplace else, but nothing official has been announced yet. So go check out the video and
And the
see
All-Star
what
game
that.
too,
Yeah, and they're
supposedly
having an all-star game
that weekend. So
that weekend. So probably all-star game one day, Arena Bowl the next day. So we shall see that. Guys, the season hasn't even started, and already we're talking about the championship game. It'll be here before you know it.
right.
Let's see. Sunday, June 9th.
We already did that one.
Oh, I did that one. Tuesday, June 25th, our 350th episode of this
Oh, yeah.
podcast. We're going to need another cake with 350 on it this time.
Oh boy, I don't know. We'll have to figure something out. We'll
Yeah,
have to do something special
yeah.
or different.
Let's see. Thursday, August 1st, the Pro Football Hall of Fame game in Canton, Ohio, featuring the Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans. A couple days later, on Saturday, August 3rd, the 2024 enshrinement ceremonies at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And then Thursday, September 5th, the NFL regular season begins, and we start this all over
See, you
again.
you putting that in there. You're reaching for September when you got other August stuff. Like you should have just cut it off at the enshrinement ceremonies because you got week 0 kind of in the wings here in your
Well,
notes.
yeah, because it's too early to talk about
Oh,
that.
too early to talk about that, which is August 24th, but you're willing to talk
Because we
about
don't, it's the
September 5th for the
Eagles game in
NFL.
Brazil, and we don't even know who their opponent is
Well,
yet.
yeah, but August 24th for week 0 in college football, but then you have
I just
September
made a
5th
note.
for the NFL regular season beginning. So you'd rather talk about that, which happens after week 0 in college football. I'm just calling you out for your
Nobody would have known
notes.
that if you hadn't opened your big mouth about it.
Well, nobody
It
would
was
have
just a
known.
note for me to.
Nobody would have known you screwed up writing a date down had you not said something either. So here we are, Randy.
Anything else you want to get mad about before we close the show out? Anything
No,
you've seen on
no, actually, I
on your
think we
phone?
had a great show today. I had a lot of fun. I thought this was
Yeah,
a great episode.
yeah.
Really
The madder
showcased.
you make me, the better show you think it is.
Yeah, it's great. I have a blast. I'm sure it was entertaining for some people. Maybe I ranted about uniforms a little too long, but hey, that's what happens. It gets me going.
Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. If you folks learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we have done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, original articles, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
You know, you should never have a black jersey with just an orange outline on your numbers and then have black numbers.
Just
It
read the
is just
script, would you? Just read the
absolutely
script.
criminal. You guys can follow the World of Football on Facebook, X, and Instagram, where the address for all three of those is TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this podcast are posted on Tuesdays and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. So you can simply ask your Alexa device to play the World of Football podcast to hear us on whatever Alexa devices you may have. You can also find the full audio version of this show on our YouTube page. Just enter the World of Football Kalamazoo, or use the handle at the World of Football in your YouTube search bar to find us. So please spread the word, subscribe, rate, review, give us a like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation. And if you want to be a part of the uniform conversation, join our new podcast,
We're not
Football
having
Fashion. Let
we're
me get
not
the bid
having a
in. Let me get the
uniform
bid in.
podcast.
Football Fashionistas coming to the World of Football. Book it. Okay, it's your turn.
You gonna get Kyle to do that one with you? Because I want no part of that
I'm
one.
gonna text Tim. I'm gonna text Tim Capper right now. Football
Leave Tim alone. I
fashionistas.
think he's had enough of us
I
already over
think
the
so
last
too.
couple of days.
And he's put up with a lot of our shenanigans.
And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting here in Kalamazoo. So until next time, when we'll try and do a better job, yeah, right. I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm thinking, well, actually, maybe I'll change the podcast to Football Fashion Police. I think I like that too. And you can use a song from the Police.
Jeez.
Every move you make. Come on.
Please don't sing. We can't afford the royalties on that. We'll see you all next week.